I've been realizing that a lot of plans, these dreams for myself, intentions of recent have been diminishing slowly. It's as if they're disappearing. And I find that a lot of my plans I've had recently, I'm no longer interested in them. But deeper than that, I can't find them. I can't find them. For me, the deeper recognition is that something in me no longer desires to plan out my life anymore. And this has been ongoing. I used to always have a plan because I was living from fear, from ego. But over the years, that has slowly not just shifting or changing because things change, right? But it feels more than that. I can't seem to find these plans anymore. And it's not as if I am waiting on anything to change. I'm not someone that can't make my mind up. I keep changing my mind about a situation because this is not about mind. It's just not there anymore. So I wonder if you can relate to that. And it wasn't as if I decided not to go through with these intentions or the plans. They're just not there. My plans and my intention, I didn't see them as bad. They were to create a life for myself. But what used to happen to me is when something didn't go the way I planned it, I would immediately start spiraling into trying to find a way to make it happen, either by creating another plan, doing my best to control the situation, sometimes trying to force it. And all of that now seems like ways to survive, as if I was surviving life or trying to thrive. All those intentions that I had for myself to become. And the thing about intentions is if we hold on to them too tightly, they create more tension in our lives. Because if it isn't for me and I try to force it, then that only creates stress. And I feel that comes from when we don't know ourselves. Back then, I thought my accomplishments would define me. And that's the reason why we hold on to these plans to accomplish, to do all the things in our lives, because it brings definition and purpose to our lives. At least we think it does. But what I realize is it brings more stress. One of the things when we create things, we have to maintain them, right? And that's why I say it brings more stress to our lives, because now we have to maintain what we created. There was a point where I felt like life was against me. And all I knew was to struggle to accomplish whatever I wanted in life. But there is something mystical, if I can use that word, about this unbecoming journey. Something is shifting on the inside, which changes how you see everything or how you used to see it. Desires, they start to melt away, and they don't have to necessarily be something bad. In a sense, you desire to have this or you desire to have that. But those start melting away. What you hold onto tightly can become the thing that consumes us, especially when we think that it will define us. You know, everyone at some point is looking for direction, but there is a freedom that comes when it comes from not needing direction. And I wonder if you can see this. And I'm not saying that I don't make plans or have intentions, but the deeper truth is what is for me does not need to be forced. And more so now, my intentions and my plans are maybe for today. They're not far-fetched, they're not far gone. And if I had any, I can't find them anymore. I don't feel limited when there is no direction. I feel more free. I feel more present. I'm not bound by anything, not constantly trying to control every moment in my life, which, by the way, can we agree, it's so exhausting. So exhausting, so extremely exhausting. But something is happening on the inside. A detachment is happening within me. So I don't need to do anything to let go of those dreams. And when I say detachment is happening, the old me that wanted those things, that is dissolving. So that old me that wanted those things, as that is dissolving and I'm unbecoming all of that, there's no need or there's no desire there for the things that I needed to create for myself, to create a life for myself anymore. But just more recently now, it was something that I was sitting with, and I could not find the plans anymore. I could not find, and that is so freeing. I feel limitless, not limited now. I feel that we do choose, we do make plans in the moment, yes, but there is an openness to life, an acceptance of to what is, because something in you trust more now. The fear that I used to have is no longer holding me. And once that fear and the pressure of creating this life and becoming a success or someone, once it's no longer there, there's no more pressure there. Waking up from what could have been a nightmare, actually. Because some of those plans that I probably had would have been a nightmare for me. The need to create this life for myself has loosened, and now I am more present. Desires can keep us chasing, dreams can keep us imagining and drifting away from our highest self. Longing for something can keep us stuck. Longing for someone can keep us stuck. And it seems like it never ends. One desire ends and it leads to another. Another one begins. One longing ends and another one begins. And I feel like for us to truly understand our desires, our intentions, and those plans that is up here, we must understand what's here, what's truly here. We have to understand where they're coming from. Is it coming from an idea of who we think we are, or who we think we need to be? Now I find myself in all the changing, all that is changing. I find myself not being moved by the change, but seeing the change. See what is changing for what it is. A lot of the dreams I had for myself were what the world reflected, or what was reflected onto me by someone that was close to me, what I was conditioned to believe in, conditioned to believe how life should be. The world reflects so much of that back to us, especially when we're out there and we don't know who we are. And I was lost in all of that chasing because I didn't know who I was. I didn't know my highest being, my highest being. That's the freedom that I'm talking about. Your highest being. You can just be. You're not constantly chasing, trying to create this life for yourself. Because the self that wants that doesn't really know itself. That self has to create. It doesn't really know who it is, if that makes sense. That's what happens when we don't know who we are. What is for us will find us, just like the river finds the sea. Sometimes we feel lost because our plans are not the way. Our plans are not the way that we should take. The way is every moment that we inhale and exhale. And it is only when we look back that we can see this. We can see that something has been guiding us, even when we did not know ourselves. And I'm not saying that there are not things that I don't like. I might pass something and I say, oh, I like that. I'm not saying that we can't enjoy life. I don't think that's what it's all about. That you cannot enjoy life and enjoy something, or no, I don't think that's what it's about. The need for it that comes from the illusion of something created, the created self, not who you truly are. So desires and intention doesn't bring us tension. Desires doesn't imprison us. And the more I surrender to the unbecoming, those desires are slowly fading. And if they arise, they fade. They fade. I can't find them. I realize inner joy and inner peace is what is left when I am present with what is. When you truly know yourself, I feel like it's not bringing things into our life that brings peace. It's knowing who you are without it. I am life. You are life itself. And for this to fully be, we must remember our true nature. Something in us stops needing. So maybe what we are really losing is not direction. Maybe what we're really losing is the old self that needed direction in order to feel relevant, to feel safe, to feel needed, to feel like someone.